Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a Kawasaki Prairie 360. It's a K-EBC. It's a Kawasaki engine brake control. This is at a customer's farm, and it sat in their barn for over 5 years, they said. They put gas in the battery at one start, so they took the original carburetor off and bought one of them aftermarket carburetors, and it just runs on choke. On them aftermarket carburetors, this carburetor probably fits a bunch of different models and a bunch of different brands. So the jetting might not be right. So I'm gonna take that carburetor off, and I'm gonna boil this one out and rebuild this one and put it back on and see if it runs better. So hope you enjoy the video. Okay, let's go ahead and pop that seat off. And I want to take the gas tank off too and take all the gas out of it, because they say they use regular unleaded. But on this plate on the engine, for the engine and stuff, it's under the seat here, for the fuel, I don't know if you can read that, but they want at least 91 minimum octane. And regular unleaded around here is 87, so you need to be running premium in this. So that's why we're gonna take the gas tank off, drain that, clean it out, because I don't even know if they clean it out good when it's sat for that long. So we gotta, looks like that's a 10 millimeter. Here's our air box, and the carburetor's gonna be sitting right under here. Got a little cup here that I put all my nuts and bolts in there. And I see we're missing the bolt on this one here, and we're missing the rivets, the plastic rivets. Take off the gear shifter knob. And according to the fuel gauge, it's on full. But we gotta burn premium in there. A lot of them Chinese and Japanese engines, they require that 91 octane. That tank is plumb full. Turn the fuel off here. I'm gonna vacuum some of that gas. Suck some of that gas out of there. Just right at the top. Yeah, there's that new aftermarket carburetor on there. I see they have a new starter on there too. So they must have done a lot of work to this to get it running. So we're going to go ahead and take this air cleaner breather tube off. And we'll go ahead and the intake tube from the engine and the carburetor, loosen that up. Then the choke, I believe that's a 12 millimeter, I think. Then screw that out. There's like a little piston thing in there that goes back and forth. I'm going to take the side panel off. That's where the throttle is. And we have some wires under here we have to unhook. And then with the 10 millimeter wrench, we gotta loosen that throttle cable up a little bit. When I take the bowl off that original carburetor, if it's in too bad a shape, but I don't know until we tear it apart, but if it's too bad a shape to rebuild, I'll measure the jet on that one and we'll make this jet the same size as the original, but we'll worry about that when we get it over the table. There we go. Drain line we pop off. And there we go. It looks nice and all. But like I said, it's one of them aftermarket ones. You can buy them for like $34 on Amazon and eBay. But the original one's a name brand one. It just, like I said before, they're so universal. Probably the only thing wrong with it is the jet's a little bit off. But like I said, we're going to clean this up and tear it apart. See if we can't get the original one going, because on these, that's kind of like the way to go. So let's go take them over the table. Okay, kind of got the outside cleaned up on a little bit. Let's take that bowl off. Just pop that overflow hose off here. Well, that don't look bad at all. I'm gonna put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I can see that main jet. That main jet's all clogged up. Take the other hose off first. I'm gonna put it in the ultrasonic cleaner with the float nearly hooked up for a little bit. Then once I clean it for a little bit, then I'll take that off. We'll clean a little bit more. Then I'll take the jets out. That's your low end and that's your high end. I'll take them out because when we screw them out, there's a little tube with a bunch of holes in it. Make sure they're all clean. But I'm gonna clean about 2 or 3 times. But I thought it'd be a lot worse than that. I thought it'd be like a ½ inch of scum in the bottom. But you're just, you can tell they're using ethanol. I don't know if you can see in the camera, it has that yellow tint in there. And the stuff I use, it don't damage diaphragm and stuff. There's a diaphragm up here. If you use like regular carburetor cleaner to soak it in, I would take the top off and take that. There's a rubber diaphragm in there and stuff. But the stuff I use won't affect it. So that's why I'm gonna stick it in their hole. Let's go over the machine over here. Boil it out like 2 or 3 times in different stages. You want it as clean as possible. So we'll stick it in there. And the first shot we'll do about 20 minutes. And I'll stop it. And like I said, take the float off there to get the needle out of there. And we'll pop the low end and the high end jet out of there and boil it again. So okay, we got out of the cleaner. It looks so much better. I took the main jet out, cleaned that up, and the idler jet. And on the main jet here, here's your main jet right here. And there's holes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes there. 4 holes there. Just plug your finger on this end here and spray in here. And see how it comes out of all them holes. That way you know that's nice and clean. And go ahead and tighten that down. And with our idler jet, make sure you got a nice stream coming out of there. Make sure they're all nice and tight. Okay, we got them all started, so now we'll get them all nice and snug. Not too tight so don't break the heads off. Alright. Looks a lot better than it did. There's the aftermarket one. We'll put this hose on here. This one's all brittle and everything. So now let's go back over the four-wheeler and put this on and see if we can get it running. Okay, let's hook these wires up down here and put that drain. One's a spade and the other one's around throttle. And when you put your throttle in, you gotta make sure it's not tight so it keeps it open. Either 10mm. Tighten that up. This is the aftermarket cover, but it should fit on there. That's snugged up. Go and tighten this clamp down here. Okay, now our choke. And that's our 12mm. Okay, put the cap on that. tighten the clamp from the air filter to the carburetor. Make sure everything's working. Make sure the choke's working. Okay, now we can put the fuel tank on there now. Might as well better put this protective cover on. Gas tank's all drained out and everything. Now we gotta hook up that fuel line. Okay. It only had one bolt, so let me go try finding something close to that, because you really should have both bolts hold it on in case you, God forbid, you tip it over or something, the brakes pull them off. So let me go find the bolt. Okay, here's the original one. What I did is I turned a nut with the washer on it upside down and put like a little sleeve on there. And it's an 8mm instead of a 10, but it should do the trick. We still stabilize both sides of the gas tank. Okay, now we can put the gas tank cover on, I believe, here. So I'm going to grab the light and just double check. Make sure all the hoses are hooked up. Everything looks good. Well, I guess we have to take them 2 bolts out for the gas tank, it looks like. There's a little rubber ring around the fuel gauge. Got a little ahead of myself there. I guess I'm supposed to put that cover on before I put them. There, that looks a lot better. Gear shifter knob back on. That popped back out. Okay, now the fuel on and off switch. That's down here. Watch this little thing right here. There's a little Phillips head screw in there. Okay, let's put some fuel in there now. We're going to use premium. It says 91 minimum. You can tell they're using ethanol because everything was yellow. Turn the key on. Make sure the neutral light's on. Choke. The choke's off before. The only time it'd run is with the choke on. So that's cool. Look at that. Now we want to double check here. Just double check for leaks. Everything looks good on this side. Everything looks A-okay over here. Okay, just double check it again here. Key on. Or you start up so the choke's off. And neutral lights on. Well, there you go. I don't know if I mentioned the beginning of the video, but this is a 2012 Kawasaki Prairie 360. Anyways, if you have a forward like this, if you can rebuild your original carburetor, it's so much better. You know, I have nothing against the aftermarket ones, but they fit so many different models and makes that it's probably not going to have the right size main jet in it. And that's what was wrong with this one here, because it only ran on choke. So that means the jet was too small. But if I wanted to be able to clean it up, I would have sized up the original jet and made the aftermarket jet the same size. But anyways, hope this video helped you out. Appreciate you watching. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. You guys have a good afternoon.